All right. Welcome to a brand new episode of Convo with the Stros, and I am here with the one and only Haley Strotter, my beautiful wife. How are you?
I'm good today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Good. I'm really excited because I feel like we've been on this little journey going on for a little bit doing this, and there's been some ups and downs to this, right?
Last week was a down.
Last week was one of our down weeks for sure.
Let's tell them the truth. I think we recorded maybe 2 or 3 and they did not take.
Yeah, it's a learning lesson of going behind this and technology wise, trying to figure this thing out. So we recorded a whole episode that we thought was like awesome, and we were about to publish and realized that the audio didn't record.
Yeah.
So we did so we had to do it again, and then we did it again. And this time, I didn't set the levels correctly in recording your audio. And so we did a whole episode, and needless to say, we go back to listen. And of course it didn't record that one either. So scratch.
So we just let last week be last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know, while you're talking, I'm thinking like, we never really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Last week I was sick.
Tough week.
Wrapped up Bible study. And that was like a crazy, wild, awesome 4 weeks. But again, behind the scenes.
Can I give you honor though? Can I give honor where honor is due?
No, I don't need any. I love you.
But I want to say it to you. Listen, 4 weeks of teaching women's Bible study, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women showing up every Thursday to hear the word of God, but also for you in your faithfulness to devote. I get to see behind the scenes. So I watch the early mornings. I watch the early rises. I watch you be with the son. I watch you commit yourself to surrender your thoughts, to hear from him. And what nobody knows other than the ones who are willing to surrender themselves enough to be used by God. Those people know the sacrifices of what it takes to be in full surrender, to allow God to speak to them in a deep and meaningful way in order to receive that revelation and then be quiet long enough to be able to go and be used by God. So for that, I prepared this for the first time and want to say,
Okay. Eric,
I always want. I'm learning.
I am about to crawl in a hole.
Hey, that was awesome. That was like a really good, like.
But I want to tell you something. It makes me really uncomfortable, and I pray it always does.
Yeah.
That was my worship back to my God.
Yeah.
And to every woman, we only do this women's Bible study once a year, that made the unbelievable sacrifice to be in the house of God. I say this a lot. We said this in the first one. He came for the bride. He died for us. And, to come together collectively and corporately and worship and seek the heart of God. You're the head of this house. I'm the heart of the house. Our pastor and the men of our church, they are the head of the house, but the women are the heart. We carry the heart of God in the church. And so for once a year to come together for a few weeks and really seek, pursue the heart of God, also look at our own hearts and go, where are our hearts sick? Where do we need a tune up? Where do we need to purify our hearts? Because it's the central location to everything a woman does. And to show up for those women, that made it an unbelievable joy to just worship and grow together. It's the greatest honor of my life. No one is more shocked than me that I get to partner with God to teach the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ. Anyway, I didn't deserve an applause. Me and Jesus are having the greatest blast of my life. Yeah. Like, I can't even believe I get to do this with him.
Yeah.
Can't even believe he found me faithful. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for honoring. I like what you said, when I looked at you and we were like going to try again, I was like, babe, let's just let this week be. C'est la vie. These two, I don't know where they went, but we'll try again next week. And that's the beauty of this. We're on God's time. We're on our own time. It takes a lot for us to get the right moment, all the kids. And so we made it today. Let's go, because my goodness, there was some warfare to get here.
Well, I think that it's the most beautiful setup to what we're talking about today and what really goes in line with what's happening. So if you're hearing this podcast and you're one of the listeners that's brand new to this, I want to tell you that if you go backwards a little bit, what you'll find out is that the first episode was really the reason why we're doing this. Second episode goes back to understanding that we all tell ourselves a story, a narrative in relationships and marriage and parenting and just in living a whole life. And we all have this narrative that becomes our story. And there's all, we all know that saying that says there's always two sides to every story and the truth. And so if we don't recognize our story and our partner's story, you have a tough time resolving conflict. And so we moved into recognizing that shame becomes such a vital part of our stories and how it takes us down a rabbit hole that we may not necessarily want to be on, but end up on. And then through that shame talk, we recognize that conflict resolution becomes the next part of that story, especially in relationships, especially in marriage, especially in parenting, especially in business. And so we gave some really insightful tools to resolving conflict and what that looks like, and maybe some things that some people have never experienced or heard before. So that's that episode. And then we bleed into this episode, which falls right in line with what happens next. And what we're going to talk about today is a word that
one of our favorites.
One of our favorite words. As a matter of fact, both of us are sort of going through the same story here. We'll talk about, but this word is a word that can reshape our perspective. This is a word that can change. I say it all the time that our circumstances don't have to change for our perspective to change.
So good.
And so when we hear this word, this is going to give us we're going to assign a word to this battle that we all face. And it really has everything to do with our relationships, our marriage, our business, and our own life. And the
most of all, God.
Most of all, yeah, we're going to get to that part. But the word is called disillusionment.
Disillusionment.
Disillusionment. Did I like my tongue get fat for a second?
Little bit.
Disillusionment. And for you guys that don't know what disillusionment means, disillusionment is the moment when our expectations collide with our reality.
Yep.
And it's really and often in ways that we didn't even foresee it coming. We didn't even recognize it. It's when life doesn't align with the paths that we imagined or planned for ourselves. And so it becomes this place where it's like, we didn't see this happening. It didn't go according to our thoughts. It didn't go according to our expectations. Yeah. Life sort of just slams us right in the face with something that we did not expect. And so disillusionment forces us to pause, to embrace, and it challenges the way that we confront things and how we handle things. And so I want to dive in today into this word disillusionment. Yeah. And let's take it and go one step deeper to really see how not embracing these things, how it affects our life. And so
I think you and I discovered that we got into the trap of disillusionment so many times, and to us now is dangerous. You and I contend to stay out of disillusionment. Number one, with our relationship with God, with ourselves, and most of all, each other. Disillusionment is actually an invitation to go to a different place. But if you don't contend for it, then you go into complete disappointment. I think we stayed in disillusionment the mass majority of the beginning of our marriage, hands down. It's funny, you and I are both reading the same book. Yeah. You came home and I was like, you were like, hey, I started a new book with my book study. I love that you do that. I love that. Can I toot your horn? I mean, I don't have a horn to blow, but
toot.
You are always in a group. You're always, I don't know, you're in 50 Bible studies. It's pretty aggravating some mornings that you're always leaving to go somewhere when I just kind of want to have coffee with you. But then I go, man, the only place this guy wants to be is sitting in a room with other men learning and growing. If you're not in that, you're in a book study. I mean, it brings about great comfort and safety to me, which is something anyway, thank you for being you, but I just went off on a tangent and I got butterflies.
Thank you.
So when you came home, you were like, and what excited me is she's my coach.
Mm-hmm.
She's my mentor right now. So you're like, babe, I'm reading this book. We're starting it. And I'm like, what's the name? And you're like, The Night is Normal. And I'm like, I'm reading the same book. Yep. And anyway, I have the undeserving honor of, being in this mentorship program with her this last year. It's coming to a close and I think I'm going to cry. But as we're reading the same book and God's putting a new revelation on the word disillusionment, but how you and I have really overcome it and how we do not allow disillusionment to set in our marriage. And I think this is where you want to go today, but disillusionment, creates such a level of a feeling of disappointment and loss and hopelessness. And I'm going to let you take it from here and I'll interject when you want, because I could go off on this because my relationship with God had such a false sense of what was really true. My relationship with you. And it was because of my inability of not knowing, like we talked about the week before, conflict resolution. So we would go into an opportunity to grow is what I like to call it. Mm-hmm. And I would find out that my expectation of you was not met. And oh my gosh, right there, disillusionment sets in because it's an unmet expectation. It's a knowing that what you thought it was is not, and you're at a place where you can't accept kind of what is. And so then what happens is we shut down, we move away, we stay in hopelessness, disappointment. They'll never understand me. It'll always be this way. And then we create this sense of reality that's not really true. Yeah. And we lose this opportunity to really take disillusionment and use it as a stairway to bring us up into what actually, I really want to talk about how we contend, because disillusionment is waiting for you each and every day.
Yep.
And if you bite the bait, you're going there. Yep. And the crazy part is, let's just stand in the empty space and say, because we're unwilling to really fight, then we're accepting something that is not really real.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And I think it really is one of the two great principles that we talk about all the time, that it's required of us to recognize this word, become aware of this word, and begin to see how it affects not only you personally, your soul, your healthiness, your own stuff, right? Because it's easy to look at our partner and it's easy to look at relationships and look at somebody else and go, oh, I see the disillusionment in your face, in your eyes. But the reality is it's only when we start to turn it from the outside in. Mm-hmm. You know how they say you point your finger, there's 4 of them pointing back at you. So it's to be able to go, what areas of my life am I being disillusioned? Or what areas of my life in my relationships are we in disillusionment?
Oof.
And
it's a game changer.
It's 100% a game changer. You just said it. You said
I got the chills.
It's an everyday deal.
It is.
I think for me,
it's something the adversary uses daily.
Yeah.
And it's a dangerous trap. He's looking to present to every married couple so that we can see something that's not really.
Yep. Well, I think what just came to my mind was the scripture verse of take every thought captive.
That's right.
What he's saying is that when these thoughts come into your mind, you got to recognize where they're coming from. And he says to take them captive, meaning to hold them, to put them in a holding place, to be aware of them. You can't take something captive if you don't catch it.
That's right.
That's
or
good.
can identify it.
Or can identify
That's
it
good.
or become aware of it. So when we're blinded to things, we don't even see them. So this is the tool, good to great tool, is disillusionment.
Which can I
go ahead.
leads to bitterness.
Well, it leads to a lot of things.
It leads to a lot of things, but if you don't catch it, and I think that's why we're so excited about sharing the awareness, giving some context for the one person that's going to go back and go, where is this showing up in my life?
Yeah.
Because most of all, the greatest tragedy of all is we're mostly disillusioned with God.
Yeah.
And then it carries over with ourselves and our spouses and then people.
Parenting and then people.
And the truth
because
is,
kids have a,
oh gosh, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
But I love when you say, the person with the most expectations is the one with the least amount of peace.
that's right.
And the truth is disillusionment is really unmet expectations.
That's right.
And the inability to accept. And I think you and I also, it's like, it just is. It's not forever. It just is what it is right now. And we can accept that and we can sit with it and it's okay. And we're on the journey. But if you get into disillusionment with someone, you really don't have a shot to get to when disillusionment sets in, we put a voice in and we go, oh, check that. Because we're not going to be able to go where this situation or whatever is intended to take us.
Yep.
It's to catapult us into growth.
Yes, to push us forward.
It's to push us forward. So it's like, bring it on. We do not let each other stay in that place. Now, we say it all the time. I think it also comes back to that famous saying that we say all the time is seeking to understand. So when you're in a conflict or when you and I are in a conflict and disillusionment wants to set in because it's just waiting at the door. And if you allow it, it's so easy to get into it. We stop, we pause, and we go, hey, either the story I'm telling myself, this is what I'm feeling. We have to sometimes be brave enough to say, well, my expectation was, and own the fact that I had an expectation on you. It was unrealistic. It's not fair. When I have no expectations, I'm actually at the most peace because anything I get from anyone is lanyard.
That's a muscle that needs to be worked, though. I think that's one of those things that most people don't work.
They
that
destroy
muscle enough
relationships
to be able to process this or engage with it or pause long enough or embrace it. And so for anybody who's still listening to this and going, what are they talking about? I'll tell you, we kind of said it earlier in last week. If anybody was a fly on the wall inside of our house and realized coming off of 4 hard weeks, coming off of a lot going on, finishing out a season with the kids with some sporting events and things that are just consistent and a lot, we said that we were going to do this, for a period of time, back to back to back to back, recording these episodes. And although we ran through technical issues and although we tried to be faithful and really put our best foot forward, it didn't work out. And rather than losing it, rather than getting frustrated, rather than stopping the process, it was like a moment of going, okay, let's just embrace this. Let's embrace this week. It's not going according to our expectations. There's no reason to get caught up in it. Hey, listen, it's going to play itself out how it may play itself out. And so therefore, you find peace in learning how to embrace situations that go beyond your control.
We don't let anyone put expectations on us. I mean, I got a few messages this morning where they were like, girlfriend, where you at? I'm like, we'll be back soon.
Yeah.
We owe God everything and no one anything.
Yeah.
But being committed to the process and being okay with like, all right, this week was a wash.
Yep.
We'll get back up and do it next week.
Yep.
And I think living from that place, it takes a lot of work to get there, but living from that place keeps your expectations low.
Yep.
It doesn't bring you into disillusionment and also the quit. How would you say that you stay out of disillusionment when you and I have opportunities to grow or altercations or batailles, whatever you want to call them?
Yeah. Well, I think that this muscle has grown substantially, and I'm going to give you the credit that credit is deserved because I believe that you helped me with this in a deep way. Not only because you challenged me, that would be a funny part of it, the challenge or passive. not only have you challenged me, but I'll use this story keeps coming up, and it's the story of you put our family on a Whole30 diet for 30 days.
Every single year. And,
the first time that we did it and really committed to it and said, this is what we are going to do, I'll never forget it. Emil, the baby of the group, the caboose, was probably 3 or 4 years old, maybe 2 years old.
He was 2.
He was 2. And so I'll never forget, it was one thing for the whole family, 30 days, this is what we're going to do. And so the baby, Emil, goes to the pantry and he wants his little snack. And I'm about to give him a snack. And you looked at me and you said, we're on a Whole30. And I'm going, but he's 2. He's 3 years old. Are you kidding me? Like, how are you? Like, you can't for 30 days. He'll never learn the lesson. And you looked at me and you said something. I'm telling you, this is a good, true, great principle. And I have said this and repeated this a million times over, because you looked at me and you said this. You said, Eric, we have to teach these kids how to tell themselves no. If they don't use this muscle, and it's a muscle that needs to be used in order to become stronger, when they grow up and they become old, they will have a tough time of telling themselves no. It's our responsibility to teach this principle to them. And I went, oh my God, you are right. I think for so many years of my life, telling myself no was just something that fell under accountability, or fell under my parents, or fell under authority. But the idea, when I wasn't in those positions of falling under that accountability, learning to tell myself no and be able to do that and have enough willpower to say no to areas of my life of desire or want, was not something or a muscle that I ever really worked. And this was something that you stood by, and it was such the greatest learning lesson, because I'm looking at the thing today and I'm watching our kids when we do these, and we're doing these things more and more often now. Whether or not it's on YouTube, whether or not it's on shutting down TV or no social media, or going on fast, or going on, call it a diet. I hate calling it that.
It's not. Yeah.
But being able to tell ourselves no,
so
forces us to take on a new perspective of the same circumstance.
And, I had no self-control as a child, and self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. And children don't just develop it. Their parents have to coach and teach them in it. But but the parents have to have self-control and discipline. And so, again, I cannot wait to start talking about parenting, because I think most of us, unbeknownst to us, are just winging it, doing the best we can and hoping that it... And, they're like wet cement, and they have ages and stages where the concrete settles, and that should keep you up at night and make you really get in the game of parenting and who we're raising and what are we saying no to say yes. And this more than anybody else. I take my role as a mother. I mean, they're my first disciples. Almost too much. You have to help me, kumbaya a little bit, but
you take it very serious, and I'm very thankful for that.
It's another level. They are the greatest gift God gave me, and I'm not sleeping on this deal. But anyway, so in my course of just constantly going to God and bringing my children before him and helping me with ways and creativity to establish these fundamental, I want them to operate in the fruits of the Spirit. And so self-control is a huge one. And you see it across the board with kids. There's just a lack of self-control, and it's not the children's fault. It's the parents' fault in not staying consistent. But if we don't teach them to say no, to fight temptation. And typically I'll start off the first of the year after Christmas, we'll do Whole30. And that's just a way to say, hey, we've indulged and had a lot of, and I'm a stickler with food and what we feed our children and all of that stuff. But we let them get a little wild at Christmas. And then we wake up the first of the year and we go, hey, God, we're going to give you our best. We're going to say no to the things that we want that may be good so that we can crucify the flesh. We want to go to, and it's watching them go, gosh, Mom. And I go, I know your body's craving that. Look at Mama. You're going to be tempted with so many things. You're going to be presented with so many things. And if I don't help develop this muscle in them to go, even though this is being served up to me, I can fight temptation. I can say, we live in we cannot say no. It's overindulgence. Yeah. It's so, again, Eric, I think this is, as mothers, what we are called to do with our children is to teach them self-control, how to say no so they can say yes, how to fight temptation, how to silence the noise and say no to something right here for a greater. And listen, I'm watching self-control and things play out in the lives of my children, and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And I think that becomes the perfect explanation, even attached to the promise of what disillusionment looks like at a core, deep level with the way that you're explaining this muscle that needs to be worked.
Eli's going to be presented with porn. He's got to, like, if I'm not using my house as a training camp on how to fight temptation, how to have self-control, think about in the next few years with what our boy's going to be faced with. He's got some training. What he does with it is on him, but it's my job as a mom to coach him in saying no so he can say yes. So
watch how good this is. So when we talk about disillusionment in ourselves and in our relationships, what we're saying is that reality is not lining up according to our expectations. Right. So when that occurs, it's like this 2-year-old, 3-year-old who's screaming and having a fit on the floor because he wants his snack. Ugh. And for us to have enough self-control to be able to say, hey, bud, you're in disillusionment. I know that that's what you want, but you can't have that. And he's going, but I see it. It's tangible. It's right here. I can just open this wrapper. Like, why I could do it yesterday. Why can't I do it today? That lesson is what disillusionment is.
And we're raising our kids in disillusionment, a false sense of reality for what is real, and we're setting them up.
That's why we're working the muscle.
So
that's
good.
Why we're teaching this lesson, because it's the lesson that needs to be taught for ourselves. We could teach our children, our business, whatever your influence is. And especially in marriage, because I'm so connected to marriage and the power of marriage, but we get into this disillusionment situation where things don't line up away. And so here we go. This is the moment where we have to pause. We embrace.
Yes.
And we take this and we look at this from a positive, not a negative. So I want the wrap. I want the snack. I want to rip it open. I want to eat it. Okay, but you can't.
I want you to see this my way. I want you to give in to what I want. Blah, blah, blah.
It's not going to go the way I can prove it with past experiences. You can trust me because I'm smarter than you. Whatever the story that you tell yourself is a story. But when your story supersedes, good Lord, when your story supersedes God's story, that's when you got a problem.
Ooh.
And sometimes as children, they don't see what we see.
100%.
So we don't see what the Father sees. So we become the little, So we become the little child throwing a fit on the floor because we don't get what we want. And we are in disillusionment. Good Lord have mercy. I guess this is why two of them went bad, because that is so good. It's such an easy way to understand it,
but
though.
That's us.
100%.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And the truth is,
it's in business. For me, it's a struggle in business. For me, it's a struggle in marriage. For me, it's a struggle in just the design of the way I saw my life to play out, and it's not working according to my expectations.
So we think for a moment in time, and God's looking up and he's going, it really comes down to trust, which I'm excited to talk about next week. I know. And regulation.
You see how these things go in order and how each of them, like one by one,
is like geeking out over there.
Well, I'm just so excited. I was like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think I really want to explore this because I think a lack of trust also feeds disillusionment.
100%.
And so do I trust the process? Do I trust that in the middle right now, it's not okay? Do I trust that in those seasons of our marriage where God was working some things out in us to get us where we are right now? Do I trust that God is sovereign? Do I trust the providence of God? God working behind the scenes when I can't see it, feel it, sense him. Do I trust that I do by default in my humanity have a false sense of what is actually real and true? And if I can hold space for that, then I can grapple for, I'm not going to leave a situation with you. We have made it our greatest priority is to never leave an opportunity that it is not settled where either one of us are allowing disillusionment to set in. One, for me to see the situation in a way that it is not, to see you in a light that is not actually true, because that's when hopelessness, despair, feeling lost, confusion, disappointment all sets in. And it takes a lot of awareness and acceptance. But I'll say this, I do really want to explore the fact that we can lean more into disillusionment because of a unhealthy view of actually what trust is.
That's good.
I
know you're starting to walk into what it looks like, because I think that what most of us don't appreciate or respect, like that little child that doesn't get what they want, what they don't appreciate is the pause and an embrace and be able to deal with the wrestle. I think when it's time to wrestle,
good.
This is where the wrestle creates the relationship. So when we
intimacy, yes.
So when we begin to wrestle, and let's go with God, when we wrestle with God and go, these things didn't go the way I expect them to go. I thought it was going to be like this. My expectations were this. A blessing doesn't look like this. You didn't come through. You did this to me.
My way. Yeah.
It's recognizing that, like a child, we're going, I want this thing.
That's
and
right.
I want it my way. Give me
and
my
that's
thing.
Okay. Like, please grapple and wrestle with God.
It's designed to be this way.
It's designed to be this way. But for some people, that's a far off concept.
No, it talks about it and it says,
because it's just like my kid when he's on the ground. And now that I'm emotionally healthy enough, I don't respond and match Emil's flailing, but I connect with him and I go, I know you're disappointed. I know you really want that snack right now, but it's not snack time. How about a hug? Can mommy hold you? Can we go outside? Can we help them regulate? And then when they get regulated, then you can rationalize with them and go, I understand you wanted this, but it's not time for that. And you can't have that right now because it's about to be dinner. And mama said no. But I can hold space that you're disappointed. You're a child acting like a child.
and that's okay.
And that's okay. And God does the same with us.
Oish.
And he lets us. And then when we regulate, he's like, baby, I got more.
So good.
That little snack won't sustain you like this filet mignon I got for you. Just hold out. And I'm okay to watch you pitch a fit or two. The truth is here's the journey we're on. That used to be me constantly with God. And the more you do that, there's a sense of maturity that goes, I don't even need to pitch a fit, because children grow out of childish things.
That's right.
And they become mature. And I look up at my God and I'm more excited for him to take something away from me, because I know like I'm sitting right here with you, Eric Stoddard, he's got something 10 times better and I'm holding out for the best. I don't have time for the little crumbs. I don't have time for the little snacks anymore. My God is good. And he does not take something away from me that he's not going to give me something better. And if we settle for the crumbs, then you'll just be eating crumbs all your life.
Settle. Settle. We call that limitations. So if this mic could drop, it should have, but they can't drop. So we're not 2-year-old children.
That's it.
So we're not 3-year-old kids. But we sometimes can pitch a fit like a 2 or 3-year-old child.
And we need to check that. We need to check our child.
So let's check it. And in the next couple minutes here, as we finishing up or closing out, we want to embrace these moments of disillusionment in our life. 1, within ourselves first. 2, recognizing how they affect our relationships with One, first being marriage. Two, becoming our parenting. Three, becoming our mission, our purpose, what we do in life. But what do we do when we embrace these situations, and how can we mature in these areas? And what does that look like to embrace this? Because we're not 2 and 3 years old. So at some point you can't be pitching a fit on the floor. I mean, right? So you can't scream and holler and do these things. So we eventually got to start to learn.
But there are a lot of grown adults
that do it,
doing that.
So let's give a couple tools of what does it look like if we were to embrace disillusionment, and how do you see it? How do you see for you when you become disillusioned and you don't necessarily get what you want, you don't necessarily get what you think you deserve?
Okay, so today I sit at the perspective of I'm encouraged when disillusionment sets in, because it's an invitation. It really is.
So looking at it,
it's an invitation to honest living, to get out of my false sense of reality and to see what actually is. And I don't know how you do that without God. I really don't. He's the only one that can show me the unseen in my life. Eric, we know that I was the grown woman child that pitched a fit, didn't get my way, lived in constant expectation, stayed in disillusionment. Which for me, the invitation to really beginning the journey of coming out of disillusionment was healing. And I think that's a language for every soul. And I don't know how that plays out in everybody's life, but I think we all need to start the journey of healing the things inside of us that we hate to say are broken, but they are, simply are. I think, I can talk about past and I can talk about present and I can talk about the last few years, is that you and I have grown in maturity, and our relational and emotional IQ, our relational and emotional intelligence is, we are no longer children and we will no longer act like children. We have children. And sometimes we have to stand in the empty space and go, God, I'm a big girl with a little girl flailing inside of me. And would you come and help heal my inner child? And we all need that rightful place. And so with a lot of work and a lot of contending, you and I now fully see disillusionment as an invitation to understanding each other.
Yep.
It's a trap by the adversary. It's an invitation and a stairway, is how, like I like to call it with God. Because, and even when we leave unsettled, and maybe I am still in like disappointment of some sort, when I maturely leave and go to the one who created me, and I spend time and I share with him my thoughts, and it's typically on a power walk in Youngsville that I look like I'm having a business meeting, and I am. It is me getting out my disappointment, my side of the story.
Lament.
Because he hears me.
Yeah.
He cares. His ear has always been to me.
Because they're valid, right?
They're valid. And my feelings lead me to God. And so if I don't have the chance to really go hard with you, I'm definitely going to go hard with God. And then I just stop and I'll wait and I'll let him bring heaven to me. He unveils me and he shows me. And even if he doesn't show me all of it, in that process, he softens my heart towards you. And I get to see you like he sees you, a glimpse. And it keeps me going back for more. We say this all the time. We contend for connection. I don't want to break connection with you any longer. Those days are over. I'd rather be connected to you and wrong than anything else.
Well, I think sometimes disillusionment forces us to recognize, especially as mature adults, what I've had to learn.
It's really an unexpected friend. It's a friend. Hey, will you hang out with me? Because I'll take you somewhere you never dreamed of going.
100%. I think for some of us, we got to remember that sometimes these seasons are not for us.
Ooh, that's good.
Sometimes going through disillusionment, we're going, how is this make sense? Well, it may not make sense for you because it may be for your spouse. It may not make sense for you because it could be for your children.
That's good.
It may not be for you. It may be because of your business. I think when we begin to embrace it, we start to look at it and go, all right, rather than it being a negative, it becomes a positive. I want to offer this for me because this is part of my story that you would respect and appreciate. And I think it is for a lot of men, right? And you correct me if I'm wrong, but not necessarily having a relationship with my emotions for the last 46 years of my life. When situations arose that
I wouldn't say 46.
Well, I'm 46 years old, so I guess whatever. But
I think you started the emotional journey 6-7 years ago.
I guess in my head it seems longer, but maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. But being able to become aware of my feelings.
That's good.
Is where I started to recognize, okay, I'm in disillusionment.
That's a vital part of it. Emotional
because feelings are on the other side of your belief system. If I've never said that before, I'm going to say it again. Feelings are on the other side of your belief system. So when we experience a feeling, disillusionment happens. I didn't get what I want. I'm the 2-year-old. I can't have the candy. I can't get it. I want it. It's right there. It's in front of me. I can see with my eyes. Why are you stopping me? I want this. I desire it. I need it. I'm hungry. It's for me.
Ugh.
In those moments of disillusionment, we have to stop and recognize the feelings that are behind it. Because in recognizing those feelings and emotions, it'll begin to tell us what our belief system is according to our past experiences.
Preach, Bob.
So in that, I know for me, feelings arose as a man. And what happens is not being familiar with them.
Yep.
I dismiss them because I don't like the feeling of them.
Right.
I don't want to be in stress. I don't want to have anxiety. I don't want to be in worry. I don't want to be in fear. I don't want to be in guilt and shame. I don't want to be in those things.
So I'm going to dismiss them. I'm going to laugh them off. I'm going to act like they're not there.
Laugh them off. Dysfunctional behaviors. We start doing things.
Yeah.
I think I blew the leaves outside.
Oh my gosh.
On our driveway for years in our relationship.
Do you remember I said, if you go before me, I'm throwing a blower in the casket?
Oh, no.
I'm like,
my favorite thing in the world.
But you didn't know what to do, so you just went and dinked.
So I went and farted around outside just to like be able to filter my thoughts or process, because if I was in the situation with these heightened emotions or feelings, it would come off as anger, and it would come off as being foolish and saying things that I shouldn't say, doing things that I shouldn't do. So I would go, and I had some pretty dysfunctional behaviors, but I would dismiss these feelings and these emotions. And as I became more increased my emotional IQ, then what it did was it allowed me to look at these feelings and emotions and start to recognize them as being a positive.
So good.
Because I started to sit with them. And in sitting with them, because I had them, it told me what my belief system was. And so in that situation of disillusionment, what it did was it forced me to be able to recognize that I'm telling myself a story. What am I telling myself? This is going to go bad. This is not good. Things are going to fail. I'm going to be a failure. I don't have enough money. This marriage is going to end in a divorce. It'll always be this way. The kids will never change.
Stop telling everybody that money was your God.
Oh, yeah. And so, but in that journey of wrestle, as I sat in it and learned how to be okay with my feelings and my emotions and recognize, hey, it's okay. It's like not getting what I want. Sometimes I have to recognize that there's something greater on the other side of it. It's like what you said. I can have filet mignon if I just not eat the snack. But for so many of us, we force ourselves to eating snacks, and we never get to the filet because we end up in good. We never get to great.
That's it.
Because we
won't take the transition.
We don't move into the transition because disillusionment keeps us in the dark.
We just stay outside and blow leaves.
In fear. And
But look at me. I look at our two boys, and their emotional health was so contingent upon yours. And, truth be told, that women by nature are a little bit more emotional, but that's not always the case. Because in some marriages, the wife is underdeveloped emotionally, or, just kind of turned off, pretty neutral, not a lot of emotions. When she should be crying, she's not really crying. And maybe he has more emotions and is looking for that from her. Either way, in a marriage, there's kind of like this one or the other. And there's no right or wrong. We all actually need to go on the journey of emotional health and healing. Yeah. And I think about how your journey has greatly affected the emotional health of our boys, and that it's okay for men to operate in a healthy way in their emotions. And for so many, it was like, you know, this tough man syndrome, don't show your emotions, hide your emotions, don't cry, you know, or the other side of the spectrum. But I think Jesus, my master mentor, really displayed to us what an emotionally healthy man looked like, and how and when to use your emotions. And when, you know, emotions used and surrendered to God, they're powerful. They change the world. It's compassion. It's empathy. It's righteous anger that stands for justice. It's anger, but not sinning in it. It's a righteous anger, which is powerful when submitted to God. You know, I love this about Jesus. It's like Mary and Martha were running. They were like, Lazarus is dying. And he loved Mary and Martha so much. He loved Lazarus. That was his best friend. And he had the power to raise him from the dead. He did not. He was unbothered. He was not rushed. He didn't get over there for 3 days till he died. And when he got there, he just sat there and he looked at them and he matched their emotion. He cried. He wept with them. And then turned around and said, Laz, get up. I mean, but he can have the power for both. And so I think this tragedy of men going, that's just for women, and them not sitting in the rightful place to really heal and restore and tap into those emotions. But you and I would not be able to do this like we do if you didn't go on that journey. And I'm a recipient of that, and I'm grateful, because it does take, emotional intelligence is vital. Emotional health, emotional maturity, emotional stamina. If you're not on that journey, it's hard to do these things, truthfully.
Big time. Well, I think you defined disillusionment in the most beautiful way. I think it was perfectly put, and I think that we're called to embrace disillusionment. Yep. We're called to pause when it happens. Yes. We're called to feel it. We're called to reframe it.
Yes, my favorite word.
And I think when we do that, we begin to embrace the presence of God. We begin to embrace all that he has for us. So what ends up happening, if you think about it from this perspective, is that we allow God to go before us and do what only he can do in our lives. And we fall into a position underneath, surrender, sub, and now we're following him in what he's up to and what he's doing, trusting in him that his ways are better than our ways. And we choose not to quench the Holy Spirit because we trust it. And I believe going into what we're going to talk about on the next episode is going to be about trust and why and how difficult it is to not be able to trust not only ourselves, trust God, trust our partners, trust relationships. So for that, this brings it to a close. If you have made it this far, if you have listened to us up to this point, just kudos to you. If this has helped you, I think that we just share this with somebody. I pray that we're praying for you guys, but we're just thankful that you guys are going on this journey with us. For everyone who keeps downloading this, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's the greatest honor of Haley and I's life to be able to do this. And so, babe, anything else?
No.
All right. To the next episode.
Can't wait to see you guys next week.